Hey guys, TS Gameplay here. Got a little bit of Modern Warfare 3 for you. I went out and I picked up a copy for my PC. I wasn't actually sure if my computer could handle a game like Call of Duty or not. Um, they didn't have the particular computer that I wanted at Best Buy at tax time when I went and bought this, so I ended up just grabbing one out of frustration, taking it home, and just it was like a surprise seeing what I got out of the box. But when I started this channel 2 years ago, it was all Modern Warfare 2 gameplay. It ended up being Black Ops gameplay. There was a little bit of World at War in there. And I want to get back to doing that for you guys. That's what most of my subscribers subscribe for. And I just want to get back to playing Call of Duty games and first-person shooters and things like that. As I said a long time ago, I did sell my Xbox. I needed the money. Times are tough. I've got a 15-month-old son, and I just had twins that were born a week ago today. So, times are tough right now, and, I'm doing what I can. But this particular match, I believe it was some kind of server where it was hacked to where you could get really high XP. The only thing you could use was a shotgun, which I thought it was alright. It was pretty cool. I never played a match like that on my 360 when I had it. And you're gonna have to kind of forgive the gameplay. As far as using a keyboard and a mouse, I'm still really a noob at that. It's not that good as far as aiming. I gotta do some adjustments with the mouse as far as the sensitivity and see if that can help me aim a little bit better, get my reaction time up a little bit better, because it's definitely down right now. But my PC seems to handle it just fine. I mean, it doesn't really lag at all. It's connecting to the servers just fine. I don't have it connected to, there's no Ethernet cable or anything. It's all just wirelessly. It seems to be doing just fine. So I remember hearing a lot of people complaining about the, Modern Warfare 3 version on PC and, Black Ops, and it seems like all the Call of Duty games in general, people seem to complain a lot about, and as far as PC-wise, and I don't know, maybe it's because they patched it so far at this point, and I don't know, everything's better. It seems really good to me as far as the gameplay. It seems flawless. So I guess instead of buying a new 360, I'm just gonna stick with my laptop. I'll end up just buying Black Ops 2 when it comes out, probably off of Steam, and just make videos of that on here and show you guys videos of that, and just continue uploading videos. This has been a very fun hobby of mine. I've done it for a long time, and it really sucked that 10 months when I gave it up. I didn't want to, but I had so much going on with a newborn son, and I ended up moving twice in that time, and things were they were pretty hectic, and I didn't have the time. I was working full time, and it really wasn't working out. So, but then in January, I quit my job. It was for personal reasons. I worked for a little cell phone company. I never really told you guys what I do. I was a cell phone refurbisher. It was a little private company in my town where I live in Michigan. And this guy would sell phones to foreign countries. Like phones that were cool, like 10 years ago, basic, like little, like candy bar phones. They got nothing but a screen and, buttons on them. They're like iPhones in like third world countries. They're like the best phones ever. And I worked for this guy for like a year with like 15 other people in his own little shop and repaired these cell phones, and he sold them to other countries, and that's what I did. Well, he ended up getting into some questionable things the boss did, trying to get his employees to do some things that weren't quite legal. So I decided to opt out of that job, just for personal reasons. It was just the way to go. But since then, I haven't been able to find work. Maybe that wasn't the smartest idea, but I had to do it. there was no way I could stay in that job. The risk was just too high. It just wasn't worth it. So I've been actively seeking work. It's hard. I don't know, where everybody, that watches these videos lives, but, the economy here in Michigan, as far as the jobless rate, I don't know what it is, but I think it's like 12 or 13%. It's pretty substantial. But anyhow, once I get a job, I'm not really too familiar with how you can upgrade a laptop or anything as far as putting a new video card in it. I don't know if any of you guys can answer that question for me in the comments. I know you could in a PC as far as like a tower, a computer tower, a normal computer. I've done that several times myself, upgraded one of them. But this is the first laptop I've ever owned in my life. I've just never really used them, never really had one, and I'm not sure about upgrading it. But once I get a job, like I said, it seems to be running fine, but I just feel like it could run better. And I don't know if that's a possibility, something that I could do as far as upgrading it. So I don't know if any of you can answer my questions. The computer's a HP. It's an HP Pavilion G series. It says it's a Pavilion G7. It's fairly decent. It's like 4 gigs of RAM. Quad processor. So, I have no idea what the graphics card is in it, but I'd like to be able to upgrade it to be able to play things better. But that's just something that I really want to do in the future. I'm not really super concerned about that right now. Like I said before, I'm a dad again. I've got 3 children now. My son's 15 months old. He is an absolute handful. I don't know how many of you have children or, maybe little brothers or little sisters, but he's a toddler now. He just started walking about 2 months ago, and he gets into absolutely everything. You got to keep an eye on him constantly. And like I said, I'm a dad again. My twins were born a week ago today. They're doing very, very well. They're still in the hospital it's called the NICU, and that's just simply because they were a little bit premature. Twins usually come about a month earlier than what a single baby would, and they were about a week and a half earlier than that. So they were both considered premature. So they've been in the hospital for a week now, but today's Thursday, so they're estimating maybe Saturday or Sunday they'll finally be able to come home. They've had like feeding tubes up until this point, as far as they'll take a bottle, and then if they don't eat the whole bottle, they'll have to put the milk through the tube, and the tube goes down their nose and it goes directly into their stomach to feed them that way. As I said, that's out. So at this point, we're just basically waiting for them to gain weight. Initially when a baby's born, they lose a little bit of weight, and then it goes back up, and that has started to happen. They are gaining more weight now, which is a good thing. That's what we've been waiting for. And it's just been really hectic. It's really hard, when their mother, my girlfriend, we live together and everything. It was really hard when we got she got discharged from the hospital 3 days ago. It's very hard to come home and leave your children at the hospital. It's a very sad feeling. It doesn't feel good at all. It's bad, but it's been pretty hectic since then. We go up there at least 2 or 3 times a day. They let us sit there with them, do whatever we want. We can obviously hold them, feed them, change them. The doctors are right there. They tell us how they're doing. They give us updates. They actually had to do something today. I thought it was weird as hell. Their car seats, they have to do something called a car seat test. And they didn't have to do this with my son. Not that I remember. But they had to do a car seat test, which was, we had to take both their car seats up there, and they each had to sit in it for 90 minutes. They had to be fed, and then each child had to be sat in their car seat for 90 minutes, and then see if they would freak out or not, because they still have all their leads and all their things to check their vitals hooked up to them. So they had to be checked out and be seen that they could be sat in a car seat for 90 minutes straight. I didn't really find that necessary. I don't understand it. It doesn't really make sense to me. my home is literally probably 2.5 miles maybe from the hospital. So I don't see why they would need to be tested to be in the car seat for an hour and a half. It just really doesn't make sense. I don't know. But on another subject, this program that I'm using, I said before, I stopped using Sony Vegas. I'm now using Pinnacle Studio Ultimate. I think it's edition 12. And I actually can't see the video as I'm recording. I'm sure I could change some settings. I haven't really got into that, but as I said in the beginning, you know, forgive the gameplay. My aim's still off. I just got it last night. I hadn't adjusted any of the controls or anything. I believe this is actually the first game I got into. I had started on another server, but the game ended as soon as I started, so this was the first actual official game that I had played. It felt really good. You know, I hadn't played Modern Warfare 3 or any Call of Duty game in over 6 months or so, and, you know, it felt good to be back in the game and, you know, just be playing again. I feel like I'll be able to get a lot better at this, and I'll be able to make a lot of good videos for you guys. Because I know Call of Duty is what I started with, and it's what I want to continue with. But don't hate me for the gameplay, guys. Like I said, it'll definitely get better. I promise you that. I'll play some at night, you know, when I get a chance, when the, you know, babies are sleeping and stuff, and just whenever I can. But this is wrapping up here, guys. I hope you enjoyed the commentary, and as always, please have a nice day.